जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन यामुनतीरावनचारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन यामुनतीरावनचारी Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So we are reading from Canto 10, Chapter 1, Advent of Lord Krishna, or Introduction, and Shloka number 4. Nivritta Tarshairupagiyamanad Bhavo Sadat Chotamano Viramad Ka Uttama Shloka Gunanuvadat Puman Virajeta Vinapasupna. Okay. So let's see the word to word translation. Nivrutta, released from. Tarshaihi, lust or material activities. Upagiyamanat, which is described or sung. Bhava Aushadat, which is the right medicine uh, for the material disease. Shrotra, the process of oral reception. Manaha, the subject matter of thought for the mind. Abhiramat, for the pleasing vibrations from such glorification. Kaha, who, Uttama Shloka, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Guna Anuvadat, from describing such activities. Puman, a person. Virajyeta, can keep himself aloof. Vina, except. Pashugnath, either a butcher or one who is killing his own personal existence. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation: glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is performed in the Parampara system, that is, it is conveyed from the spiritual master to disciple. Such glorification is relished by those no longer interested in the false temporary glorification of this cosmic manifestation. Description of the Lord are the right medicine for the conditioned soul undergoing repeated birth and death. Therefore, who will cease hearing such glorification of the Lord except a butcher or one who is killing his own self? Purport: in India, it is the practice among the general populace to hear about Krishna either from Bhagavad Gita or from Srimad Bhagavatam in order to gain relief from the disease of repeated birth and death. Although in India, although India is now fallen, when there is a message that someone will speak about Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, thousands of people still gather to hear. This verse indicates, however, that such recitation of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam must be done by persons completely freed from material desires. Nivrata Tarshaihi. Everyone within this material world, beginning from Brahma down to insignificant ant, is full of material desires for sense enjoyment, and everyone is busy in sense gratification. But when thus engaged, one cannot fully understand the value of Krishna Katha, either in the form of Bhagavad Gita or in Srimad Bhagavatam. If we hear the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from liberated persons, this hearing will certainly free us from the bondage of material activities. But hearing Srimad Bhagavatam spoken by a professional reciter cannot actually help us achieve liberation. Krishna Katha is very simple. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As he himself explains, Mattaha Parataram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjaya. O Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Simply by understanding this fact that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can become a liberated person. But especially in this age, because people are interested in hearing Bhagavad Gita from unscrupulous persons who depart from simple presentation of Bhagavad Gita and distort it for their personal satisfaction, they fail to derive the real benefit. There are big scholars, politicians, philosophers, and scientists who speak on Bhagavad Gita in their own polluted way, and people in general hear from them, being uninterested in hearing the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from a devotee. A devotee is one who has no other motive for reciting Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam than to serve the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore advised us to hear the glories of the Lord from a realized person. Bhagavata Padodiya Bhagavatastani. Unless one is personally a realized soul in the science of Krishna consciousness, a neophyte should not approach him to hear about the Lord. For this is strictly forbidden by Srila Sanatan Goswami, who quotes from Padma Purana, a Vaishnava Mukodgirnam Putam Harikatamritam Shravanam Naiva Kartavyam Sarpochishtam Yatapayah. One should avoid hearing from a person not situated in Vaishnava behavior. A Vaishnava is Nivritta Trishna, that is, he has no material purpose. For His only purpose is to preach Krishna consciousness. So called scholars, philosophers, and politicians exploit the importance of Bhagavad Gita by distorting its meaning for their own purposes. Therefore, this verse warns that Krishna Katha should be recited by a person who is Nivritta Krishna. Shukadeva Goswami epitomizes the proper reciter for Srimad Bhagavatam, and Parikshit Maharaj, who purposefully left his kingdom and family prior to meeting death, epitomizes the person fit to hear it. A qualified reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam gives the right medicine, Bhavoshadi, for the conditioned souls. The Krishna consciousness movement is therefore trying to train qualified preachers to recite Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita throughout the entire world so that people in general in all parts of the world may take advantage of this movement and thus be relieved of the threefold miseries of material existence. Okay. मम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्विति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे So this is a very, very wonderful shloka, Nivrita Tarsha Rupagiyamana. And like even when we are trying to do this activity of spreading the Krishna consciousness, we always discuss this point that we need to have the commodity with us, you know, for any distribution to happen. So we need to have the commodity with us. So here we are trying to distribute the real entity, that actually offers the purification and nourishment is Krishna. And like if we don't possess like Krishna, and if we don't distribute Krishna, then the whole transaction is actually null and void. So it is very essential that how we invoke the presence of the Lord and how we distribute the Lord. So it is very, very essential. So here, Prabhupada is expecting, like Prabhupada's expectation is set here. The Krishna conscious movement is therefore trying to train qualified preachers to recite Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita throughout the entire world so that people in general in all parts of the world may take advantage of this movement and thus be relieved from threefold miseries of material existence. So, like, if we really want to make this propaganda very solid, so then we are expected to be Nivrita Trishna. So, like, to some extent, like the preachers maybe. So, but then we should aim for the perfection of this particular thing. So, later on, Prabhupada is mentioning in the next portion of the purport that what it means, like they have given up reading newspaper, they have given up they're like the four things like illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, gambling, and such people we are training. So it is good that externally we have given up. So it also needs that we need to go much deeper, and we should also internally give up these things that trying to having relishment of these things in mental level, in subtle level. So then the quality of the recitation will become more better than just the physical level of giving up. So it is very, very essential, this particular point. So we see that this particular thing, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so he uh, like demonstrates through Raghunath Das Goswami. So when he was standing in the Simhadwar and he was begging, for alms. So at the time, like Mahaprabhu appreciates that, he is so renounced. So then later, some point in time, like he gave up that practice also. So then, like he was just taking the rejected grains, which are there. So then Mahaprabhu asked, like, why did he give up, standing in the Simhadwar and begging? So then, it was told that it was he was feeling that, this person yesterday he gave me something, so today also he may give something, so and things like that. So that was compared to a condition of a prostitute. So it is the illicit sex or the desire to get sense gratification. It has multiple levels of this one. So if we see that the mind level and intelligence level also, so we are working only to please Krishna, and we are dependent only on Krishna. So this is very, very essential actually. So when we do that thing, so then the recitation of Krishna Katha will make much more effect actually. So because the purpose is very clear. So Prabhupada is mentioning here, so a devotee is one who has no other motive for recitation of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam than to serve the Lord actually. So this, even in our chanting, so this process is very, very essential. So we are chanting. There are many different reasons for chanting. One simple reason is just to finish 16 rounds. you know Another is a major task, like, it's like a major task done. So tick mark, in the day. So rather than that, like, if we actually focus on how to serve the Lord, so, and this is an opportunity to serve the Lord, and like service, to get service is very difficult actually. no so like in the material world, to get service is very, very difficult, because service means not just anything and everything. Service means that which has been desired by the Lord, and that is distributed through the parampara, right? So, and through parampara, so we got like we are getting many services, but especially directly from Srila Prabhupada and the spiritual master. We get people sometimes aspire for personal service, so personal instruction. So this is like very, very personal instruction. So like it is personally given to the disciple at the time of initiation. So it is very sacred. This particular instruction is that we get very personally from the spiritual master. So like it is, we should actually worship this instruction very close to the heart, and we should try to serve this instruction very nicely. And so we should try to serve this instruction very nicely. And if we approach the chanting of the names of the Lord, so in the mood of service, so then we can actually invoke the presence of the Lord. So like in the recently we were having one discussion, there's two kinds of effects after chanting. So when we are not able to connect with Krishna, so the chanting looks like a very tiring exercise. After doing a very tiring work, like, now abhi thoda rest lena chahiye. So that means, like, no, we are not able to connect with Krishna. So but if we are able to connect with the Lord, so then after chanting, so we feel energized. So like we see that both the experience, I'm sure both the experience devotees have. So some days after chanting they feel like really energized, and some day after chanting, like, they feel like, no, we pura tak gaya, like, no, thoda rest lena padega. So so this is the effect. So with Srimad Bhagavatam, in terms of reading and in terms of recitation, is also the same thing. Like if we have like sometimes, like, there are just like yesterday we went to one place, so there they were glorifying one Sadguru. So like some people are very expert in speaking, so they may relish that on a material platform. So but then really we see that this uh, what is the shloka? Mukham karoti vachalam. So if we see that shloka, so actually speaking, even a person who doesn't have capacity to speak, he can also speak if he is blessed by the Lord. And when such a thing happens, like when he is really connected to the Lord, and he makes a, like, a statement in glorification of the Lord in the mood of service, So then it becomes very, very like nourishing for himself and nourishing for the people also. Like this is a very important thing. So in the mood of service, so we must approach the subject matter of Krishna. And here it is mentioned, the glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is performed in the Parampara system. So this is like another important thing. So how to glorify the Lord? So bhakti means now with the bhakti. So like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam and things like that. And like somebody may say that no, like this definitely, like there are many different forms of Kirtanam is there. So our acharyas have told no book distribution as Sankirtan, right? So now somebody may say like how, in which angle it is Sankirtan? No, it is like you are just going and giving a book and then like no, where you are glorifying the Lord and things like that. So, but we should understand in parampara system. So our bhakti, what we are performing is like this Navavidha bhakti also, like we perform. So based on how it has been given to us in the parampara system. So then it becomes no proper and valid. So we cannot just like okay Shravanam Kirtanam, so I'll do Shravanam Kirtanam in my own way. No, it has to be done in the parampara system. So like how Srila Prabhupada has given elaborate purports for Srimad Bhagavatam, and also he has established this aspect of the morning Bhagavatam class. And evening we are not following actually. So Bhagavad Gita class in the evening and reading of Krishna book, in the like before going to bed and things like that. So it is Prabhupada has given some pattern. Over and above that, we can actually read the scriptures and we can glorify. So, but like whatever it is given in the parampara, so when we follow, so that becomes very, very powerful actually. So the glorification of Supreme Personality of Godhead is performed in the parampara system. So even the definition of bhakti, so that Krishna Anushilanam, So like we have discussed this many times that Anushilanam is a very, very important thing. So following the like practice of Krishna consciousness, bhakti, as mentioned or as directed in the parampara. So that is a very, very important thing. And then that is conveyed from spiritual master to disciple. Such glorification is relished by those no longer interested in false temporary glorification of the cosmic manifestation. Descriptions of the Lord are the right medicine for the conditioned soul undergoing repeated birth and death. Therefore, who will cease hearing such glorification of the Lord except a butcher or one who is killing his own self? So Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport that like literally India has fallen now. So, but still, like if there is an advertisement for this one, some satsang program, so many people will come. So that is the this one. We are seeing the magic of like the word Gita. So before the preaching was happening, like when during Prabhupada's time, it was like it was all about distribution of Gita and also like bringing people for Sunday feast. Many people would come. So in the middle period, somehow this conception had come that we cannot mention Gita or Krishna's name directly. We should do indirect preaching. So that has come from the West or from some college preaching methodology. So and preaching went really low. So then after that, like now we are using the name Gita. So wherever anybody is putting Gita course, like hundreds of people are registering. So in the online program, so in the COVID times, like we saw that so many people are registering. Like no, anybody is doing Gita course, like no, they are getting so many people actually. So this shows that still some level of piety is there. So in one of the lecture, Prabhupada is mentioning that Indians by nature are pious. No, by nature they are devotees, but they are spoiled. No, so like taking birth in India means itself like there is something is there. So in that way, like Prabhupada was mentioning that here also it is mentioned that like anybody speaks on the subject matter, so thousands of people will come. So, but still, the very essential qualification for speaking and hearing is nivritta tarshay, so that everyone within the material world, beginning from Brahma down to the insignificant ant, is full of material desires for sense gratification. And they are everybody are busy in this one doing sense gratification. So, but that is not the way of understanding Krishna Katha. So, like somebody may say, like whenever we go for programs, so we see that like in last program when I was giving in one place, so there somebody started asking some like aspects of the form of the Lord or pastimes of the Lord in a different way actually. So like people, they have been hearing all those stuffs. So but then Krishna Katha is very purifying. So then why should we not like speak about some confidential subject matters in open? So like why this qualification of Nivritta Trishna, the Nivritta Trisha is necessary? So because we see that even after hearing all those things, they are not able to like come to the point of surrendering to Krishna. No, they are not able to render service to Krishna in a full proper way. So why this is there? Because they are lacking the aspect of service, mood of service. So that is very, very essential. So first step is that somehow or other we should establish the aspect of serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the philosophy of who's the Lord, and like what is our relationship with him, and then how we are supposed to engage in the service of the Lord. So when that is clarified, so when we approach either the Krishna's name or Krishna's katha in the mood of service, so then we will be able to make some progress, some tangible progress. So if the mood of service is not there, so these are all like progressively higher and higher elements, like, and Krishna's intimate pastimes and confidential pastimes of the Lord, so they are more like more personal to the Lord. So when we approach them, so it should be like free from offenses. So when like this Nivritta Tarsha is very, very essential. So that is why in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto itself, this one is mentioned, and it is also mentioned in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam also, Nirmatsaranam, Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam. Right? So this subject matter will be relished by the Nirmatsara, so like non-envious people, so non-envious devotees of the Lord. So otherwise, the subject matter, now one is that we will not be able to access the subject matter. So like there is so much of Bhagavad Katha is there, and so much of this one is going on in common public. So why people are not able to transform? Is it that Krishna is not potent enough? Krishna and his katha is not different. So is Krishna is not potent enough to transform them, or what is happening? No, they are also very eager, and the speaker is also very eager. No, but why the transformation is not happening? Because the mood of service is not there, and the mood of like giving up the material sense gratification is not there. So till the time these things are not there, so then the effect will not be there. So though like we see the this one of even Kamsa saw Krishna, and even Duryodhana saw Krishna, and things like that. So, but very little effect. No, they did not have no very great effect. No, so because the lack of mood of service. No, so it is mentioned that Kamsa was like fully Krishna conscious, and in a wrong way. So, like the effect is not there because the Krishna is not Krishna is there. Krishna is there in the consciousness also, but the relationship with Krishna is not in the mood of service. So that is the problem. So then the desired result of attaining Krishna Prem doesn't happen actually. So Krishna is needed, and we have to be thinking of Krishna, but in the mood of service. That is very, very essential. And then it is mentioned that if we hear the glorification of the Lord from the personalities who are beyond the material material bondage, who are liberated, so then such hearing is very beneficial. So in fact Prabhupada actually wanted, so all the devotees of ISKCON, he wanted them to preach, and all the devotees of ISKCON, he expected them to be like this, that like free from material desires, at least free from material goals. So whenever we talk about pure devotees, we talk about this particular aspect, that we should be free from the goals of desires for sense gratification and desire for liberation. So these are all the two contaminations that are widely spoken about. So whenever there is contamination of Krishna consciousness spoken about, so these are the two subject matters that are spoken about. So desire for sense gratification and desire for liberation. So if we can avoid these two things consciously, so we have to see that we are trying to preach the message of Krishna consciousness, and we are trying to practice also. So till the time these two things are there, so it will just pull down the effect of Krishna consciousness. So we will not make personal progress, and we will not make any like tangible change in the lives of people actually. So like these two are very, very essential. So as practicing devotees, so we have to be careful about these two things. So as Lord himself explains, Matta Parataram Nanyat. So Prabhupada is mentioning no, Krishna's teachings is very simple. No, like he is mentioning that there is no one superior than me. I am the most superior. So, like Krishna is superior to everyone. So that Krishna himself presents it, and we should just simply read, study this particular thing from a liberated person. So then it will have effect. So now, anybody remember that four simple things which Prabhupada writes in the preface to Bhagavad Gita? Um, huh, okay. So like the 3 points are very nice. So like everybody should know how God is great. No, like this point is very essential in the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. If we see, no, finding Krishna or attaining Krishna is there, but also it mentions about what extent we should actually go for the search of Krishna. So it is the third sloka. It mentions about till what extent Krishna is present, and in the fourth sloka it is mentioned till that extent we should search. No, so like we should search Krishna in every single aspect of the whole creation. No, so that is the this one. So how great Krishna is. No, Krishna is not just a person living in Golok Vrindavan. Krishna is not just like a deity present in the temple. So Krishna is like all encompassing. He has got innumerable energies, and all the energies put together is Krishna, right? So and like he is present in every single aspect of the creation, and we are not able to see him. No, that is the definition of Maya. And if we can find Krishna, no, or if we can maintain the search for Krishna in every single aspect of our life and every aspect of the creation, so that is the perfection of life actually. So and this like knowing the greatness of Krishna. And then second thing is like amongst the greatness of Krishna, amongst the energies that Krishna possesses, I am also one of the energy. No, I have a relationship with Krishna. And then if I serve Krishna, like the ideal thing is that after understanding my sambandha, so next is the like this one abhidaya. So that needs to be like I should be engaged in the service of Krishna. And then the fourth point, if I don't serve Krishna, then I'll serve Maya in many, many different varieties of existence. So in this world, there is like the material nature is so expert, like just like Radharani doesn't repeat her dish in the same way, like material nature also can give newer and newer ways of sense gratification. The living entity gets completely befooled. No, like now you see, like this, never ever anybody has like never before anybody has tasted this particular flavor of material sense gratification. It is the very same thing, in new bottle. So she is very expert in changing the bottle and giving new bottles. So in terms of the intoxication of material sense gratification. So, but a devotee, if he doesn't serve Krishna, so he has to serve the material things in different ways. So this aspect of if you see, this itself is a very high expectation, Nivritta Tarshar. So that means going above, like not having any material desire or material hankering. So we see that this is achieved. This means there is already a good level of knowledge, that is already there. So good level of sukruti that is already there. So otherwise, people cannot give up sense gratification. So in the yoga ladder, we see that when somebody performs karma yoga, the result is he crosses over the aspect of sense gratification. And when we can see that like this is not an entry level criteria. So if you want to hear Krishna Katha, so you should be Nivritta Tarshar. That means it is not entry level criteria. Entry level criteria is like he is sinful or like he is at least becoming religious, but he has some attachment to the sense gratification. So that is the entry level criteria. And we see that like for entry level criteria for karma yoga. And for bhakti yoga, we say like even a sinful person he can enter into bhakti yoga. So then, like here it is talked about Nivritta Tarshar. So that is when you will be able to, you are qualified to hear Krishna Katha. So then, what is this effect? What is this one? We see that so Krishna Katha affects in two ways. This is described in the further portion of the purport. So tomorrow we will hear about that also. I'll just give a small synopsis that like Krishna Katha works in two ways. So when we hear from, like when we still have material desires, so still we hear from like a proper source. So then first level of action is the Krishna Katha acts as a purifying agent. And then the next level of action is we will be able to relish and we will be able to feel at home, like discussing Krishna Katha. So as that, discussion of Krishna Katha as the life and soul, as the very this one of existence, So just like a person in the hospital, for him breathing is not, like he's in ICU, so breathing is not possible. External support is given. So that is his, like what is that? Sustaining factor, like without that he cannot. So then after he gets cured, he can smell nice flowers and he can, go to a nice garden and, like, he can have nice time smelling different things. So that's like relishment, so that relishment. So like a person in the material world, people are like, like suffering, suffocating, for want of Krishna consciousness. And for them, like this initial boost of cylinder of Krishna consciousness that is given, like that will give them some life, it will bring them to some level of life. And after they get life, then they can relish Krishna Katha, so that is the second level, so in that way we see that, like two prong effect is there. So here what is talked about is the second level, where we discuss Krishna Katha for the purpose of, like, as a sustenance, as a life sustenance, just like the breathing process is the sustenance for living in this world. So in the same way, like, discussion of Krishna Katha is a sustenance for a devotee, like without that he feels, the any existence is hellish actually. So now, on the contrast to this, like hearing from people, who are just scholars, philosophers, or politicians, or who are just doing, the recitation of Krishna Katha for any other purpose other than, for the service of the Lord, it is not very good. So it is categorized in the this one of Avaishnava. So Vaishnava means one who is trying to give pleasure to Krishna. It is not that one who is wearing tilak is a Vaishnava. One who is speaking about Krishna is not a Vaishnava. So one who has desire to please the Lord is a Vaishnava actually. He wants to do service to the Lord, for the pleasure of the Lord. So like and that is why it is mentioned that by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that we should study Bhagavatam from a Bhagavata, a person who really means this thing in his life. So we hear from a person, who just wants to, appease the audience. So then it is not very beneficial. So if a person is living a life, where he is thinking, throughout the day, like how can I become, a better devotee of Krishna? How can I become more attached to the lotus feet of Krishna? So then, like for him, when he speaks about the subject matter of Krishna, so then it has some, like there is some truth in it, otherwise there is no truth in it. Like, professional reciters, so they are describing something, but actually they themselves are not convinced about that in their life, so there is this nice pastime of that thief goes to Vrindavan, like hearing Krishna Katha. like so, like description is that, Krishna is wearing so many wonderful jewels and things like that, and this thief, like hears that and he thinks that, no, what is this chota mota, this one we are doing? No, we'll go one time, we'll steal from Krishna, and rest of the life we can live peacefully. And he has somehow or other he has developed the very strong urge to meet Krishna. So he is not in the mood of service. Definitely, he is in the mood of stealing. No, but once he got the association of Krishna, so then he became purified, and then Krishna literally like started giving him, all the jewels and things like that. So then he comes back and then he tells the Bhagavatam, he thanks the Bhagavatam reciter, saying like, because of you I could able to find Krishna. No, and he doesn't have a faith. He tells like, no, you cannot find Krishna. Krishna is gone. So now he is not present. How can you meet Krishna? So if we have this one, like then we cannot we can never actually have the audience of Krishna, right? So sometimes this happens that sometimes if like devotees, you see that, no, Prabhu, we should chant little very, we should try for absorbed chanting. प्रभु कौन देखा absorbed chanting? जिंदगी में कोई नहीं देखा. So then it becomes a problem actually. So then the faith is not there. So we will never be able to attend that actually. So we should have the faith that Krishna is there, present in the pages of Bhagavatam. Krishna is there, like present in the holy name, and definitely I'll be able to have his association. and it is possible. No, why I will not be able to have association? The acharyas have not cheated us, and Krishna has not cheated us, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has not cheated us, and definitely, like, no, I'll be able to, no, connect with Krishna, no, through this medium. So why I'm not able to have, no? So that anxiety should be there. And what is a mistake? No, what there is something mistake is there. So, and when we understand that thing, so then immediately prayers come. No, Krishna, I am so fallen. You see, like, no, you don't want to associate, or you don't want to give me your association. So I'm trying to chant, I'm trying to study, but I'm not able to connect with you. I'm only getting tiredness, no, by doing this particular thing. So by chanting your names, which is so sweet and which is so relishable, so I'm only getting no tiredness. No, I'm not able to like come closer to you. So like what kind of sin I must have performed, I don't know. No, what kind of person, I don't know. Like I'm so like you please like no, whatever I am, like no, only you have the capacity to purify me. Only you can actually award your this one. So I'm completely dependent on you, right? So this one very important, this one, like in the last session also I was mentioning that until unless we become completely dependent on Krishna in this way, no, like I want you, Krishna, but I am not able to attain you. So it is like I don't know what is the problem. So but like I don't have any other source or any other place to go also. Like you are my only shelter. No, you please give me like your audience to me. So when we take complete shelter, so this thing was mentioned, I think it is in the translation only, like no, until unless we become dependent on Krishna, we cannot feelingly utter the names of Krishna, right? It was in the translation, no, in Namamrita. So somewhere it was there. So like this is a very very important statement. So until unless we feel dependent on Krishna, no, like we want to attain the lotus feet of the Lord, we want to get the audience of the Lord in the like chanting on in Srimad Bhagavatam. So but for that we need to become dependent on Krishna. So we should like tell to Krishna that see, like what I'm trying to attempt is like no completely impossible project. No, but it is no. I know that in your hands it is there. So if you desire, no, you can actually give. And also we can take the pranam mantra of the spiritual master and Prabhupada, and we can pray to them that this nice phrase is there. It's very, very inspiring phrase. No, Krishna se tomar, Krishna dete paro. So like I know that you have Krishna and I am struggling. No, I don't have. So I'm struggling to even chant properly. I'm struggling to study Bhagavatam properly. So I'm not able to connect. No, like definitely you have and you can give. Right. So this dependence that no, I have given up my own endeavor, it is not possible. My endeavor is whatever has been instruction is given to chant, I am chanting, and to read, I am reading. So that is how much my endeavor is. It is limited to the instruction which I have got. And in this, like I am not able to connect with the Lord. No, I am completely dependent on you. Like you please, no, give me this one. So when you see that, like this mood is very, very attractive actually. So even like anybody comes to us and says like, no, I'm dependent on you. Like no, I don't have any other this one. So no, like heart pigalta actually thoda, you know. So in the same way, like this is the way to actually attract the mercy of the Lord. So when we actually do that thing, so when we offer our dependence, no, completely on the Lord, so then the Lord actually, no, awards us, no, the darshan in the form of the description of the Lord and in the form of the names of the Lord. So when we have the darshan of the Lord, or when we are able to access the Lord, so then no, we can actually go and preach the message of Krishna consciousness, and it will have effect. So all of us are able to access the Lord to some extent, but we should not be satisfied with that, right? So some of us are able to access in the name, in the way of holy name, and some of them are able to access in the form of Bhagavatam, or some in the form of service, and some in the form of deity worship. So different ways. So but if we are happy with the like little bit of exposure of the Lord that we have got, so then we will not be able to progress further actually. So we should be dissatisfied with what we are having. We should have more eagerness to get more. So otherwise, like we will not be able to make progress. No. So definitely, like we are making some preaching, and no, there is some effect is there. So people are taking up to Krishna consciousness. That means definitely, like no, Krishna has invested some like potency in us. So but then we should not be satisfied with that much level of investment. We should demand more. So like much more is needed actually. So we should have the eagerness. Krishna is such a person The moment we are satisfied, he will say, okay, fine. No, ये customer तो satisfy हो गया. अभी आगे क्या करना? So if you say like, no, Krishna has like, you see like, no, I've given you so much, you are satisfied. Yes, Krishna, I'm fully satisfied. Krishna will say, okay, ऐसे रहो. So like the devotees, they say, like when Krishna is leaving Vrindavan, so that time, like no, Krishna was telling like, no, I'm just going and like, I've given so much things. You can remember all those things. They're telling, no, no, this remembering business and all, no, no, you stay back, right? So it is they're very eager, no. And when Uddhava comes to gives the message, also, you see, like, no, you are so fortunate. No, Krishna actually had so many pastimes with you and things like that. No, you can just simply remember and you can this one and like they tell like no, ये फालतू बात सब मत करो चले जाओ इधर से already we are like so much distressed, no. So they are very eager, to have Krishna more and more, right? So that is the this one, that we should not be satisfied with the like amount of exposure that we have got to Krishna consciousness. No, we should no try. We should like develop the eagerness to have the association of the Lord more and more. So that is possible by like having a proper association of the Lord, in the form of chanting and studying Srimad Bhagavatam. And when we have proper association, when then we know the like taste of Krishna. So then once we get the proper taste of Krishna, so then we will look for more and more, right? So that is the this one of stability. More and more we do that thing, so then it becomes stability. So then it is called as the Bhava Aushadhi. So initially it is the Aushadhi, and later on it is the nectarian. This one, which actually sustains the life of a devotee, right? So with this, I pause today's discussion. Any questions or comments you can take?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So this is one of the question from one of our devotees. So whenever coming to the aspect of parampara, so we are belonging to Brahma Sampradaya. So sometimes coming to the position of Brahma, sometimes we call him as pure devotee, sometimes as conditioned soul, like Brahma too, and all have material desires. So in that aspect, if we say, so our conditioned living entity have the parampara, and we are following it. So a person who is not able to go back, how can the following can go? So this question.
So this is a very important this one. So whenever this description of this Brahma till ant is full of material desires and things like that, it talks about the position Brahma. No, so in the position in general is not a very secure position. No, the position in itself doesn't give the qualification of a pure devotee. So, but the Brahma, the current Brahma, who is like the what is that? Who's in our this one? Who's the founder of our sampradaya? So he is a pure devotee of the Lord, right? So that is a very this one. Like we see that in the Bhagavatam also. We see that that handshake happens with our Brahma. Huh? Is it so? Hmm? Huh. So no, no. There's this one only, right? This day, this kalpa. So that is very much like this Brahma only. So like specifically the this one, this is the answer I have heard, that the founder acharya of our sampradaya is pure devotee. So in Brahma, the name itself doesn't mean that like we are pointing to that personality only, right? So this is the position that is mentioned. It's not the person in say. And how to understand like when Brahma comes and does that, like that Brahma Mohan Leela happens. So that is also like see, Brahma and Lord Shiva, they have never they have always been the pure devotees of the Lord, no. But then we see that when the Lord comes, like they can only be put into illusion by the Lord himself, no, and in the presence of the Lord only, like nowhere else, like they actually fall so badly, no. So they're always like they are in full protection of the Lord. And if sometimes like this particular pastime is also quoted, so Brahma ran behind his own daughter and things like that. So that is a momentary thing. No, even great pure devotees, they may momentarily like slip from their this one, or may found engaged in some sense gratification. So but that is not the case. No, that is not that is not the thing that is to be evaluated, right? So what is their normal state of existence? No, that is what is to be evaluated. So if you see a materialistic person, here it is mentioned, even if he speaks from Bhagavatam, no, it is discounted. No, so it is, he is to be considered material only. And a pure devotee of the Lord, even if he is found committing some mistake, still he should be considered a pure devotee. So why? Because it is a momentary thing. No, for him it is a momentary thing. Like by somehow, uh, by some action of this, like he is living in this material world, some influence of material nature, no, sometime, no, it has just affected a little bit, but then he has again reinstated himself in his own glory, right? So he should be considered pure devotee only. And in the same way, materialistic person, he's no, all the time he's doing material activity, and like he goes and attends on Bhagavad Sapta, he should still be considered material only. No, because just because he has done one activity, like he cannot be glorified as a devotee of the Lord, right? So that is this one. So like we can count, no, Brahma's this one, two, three, like maybe like two or three times. So like where the slip has happened, like no, we can actually count. So that is like very, very exalted this one, very exalted position actually. Hmm. Hmm. No, no, no. See here, these four sampradayas are given to us here, right? So like no, before this Brahma, it was not Brahma sampradaya, definitely. So it started from this Brahma only. So like that, the sampradayas may vary. You know, the ways Krishna may deliver the Krishna consciousness in different ways. You know, into this one. So if the Brahma is not a pure devotee, definitely the sampradaya will not come from him. Mm. Mm. Right. Puranas are the recorded history of this particular universe, right? Mm. So in that way, like it is there. Mm. Mhm. So one particular parampara, it is spoken about. So senior devotees, we have checked with this particular this one. So they tell that it is a Rajarishi parampara. So they call like no, there were many saintly kings. So generation after generation, they would all become saintly, and they would rule the kingdom in a very exemplary way, and they would take renunciation, and they would go and perform Krishna consciousness and go back to the spiritual world. So they are trained in that way, like no. So many great personalities like that. So like that is in that parampara. So that was like that is a one specific instance which Krishna actually mentions. So in this way, like many paramparas are there. The same Gita is spoken and heard. Okay. Um, Not sure. I've heard in the classes only. Ninth canto. Okay. So yeah. Evolution. No, it is not like evolution. It is devolution. So in that only, like Dutta Karma Prabhu has written that human devolution. Like he actually fall from the topmost position to down actually. So when we come, like we are very qualified when we come in, and then we lose the qualification. It is not that like it has come from unintelligent bacteria to evolved this one. That is like called evolution, and this our system is called devolution. We have fallen. Yes. Mm, 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 mm. Uh-huh. Yeah, not sure. Like I've never heard this instance when it actually happened. It would have happened sometime in this kalpa only. Huh? See, like Krishna may have personally come, or through some means, like no, it would have happened. Like and Prabhupada in some lecture, he is mentioning Krishna was present and Arjuna was also present in that discussion. you know, so both was present. So it could be from Naranara and Rishi, or it could be from like I don't know like exactly what it is. So he would have got some this one like that. I don't know the exact instance. No, some Puranas it would be there, like the description would be there in detail, how he has got. Mm. But we don't know. Huh? The one नहीं आ सकता. हाँ, yeah, yeah. It could be Narayana Rishi or somebody else. We see to see the Puranic stories like what how he actually got. Hmm. Hmm? What is it? Krishna? Yeah, yeah. This one in Chaitanya Charitamrita and like in literatures connected to our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there it is mentioned. It's only once in a day of Brahma Krishna comes and follow up. No Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. Hmm. Every time. No, see, in general, like in other this ones also, Kalpas also, this other times also, in Kali Yuga, Krishna comes, but that is an incarnation of this one. That's an incarnation of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So that's why Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, they consider no Krishna to be incarnation because of that instance. So this is a very peculiar instance which happens very rarely. So that is there is another incarnation of Krishna called Krishna. So so he comes actually Chaturbhuja Rupa. Yeah, yeah. Mm, mm, mm. ऐसा तो नहीं पड़ा. Yeah, we are we are really very fortunate. Yes, ma'am. I have not read that Purana. Somebody has to do that study. He's they're telling it seems Krishna came from Lord Shiva in the Shiva Purana. I don't know. I have not read that Purana. वो तो बोल सकते हैं. हाँ, तो वो तो बोल सकते हैं सुप्रीम मतलब एक गांव का जो लीडर है लेकिन वो ही लीडर है. तो लाइक शहर में जाएगा तो वो लीडर नहीं रहेगा. So within the material world, he is the supreme person. That is for sure. So not like they're not telling no Vaikunt लोग कभी like no वही supreme है. Vaikunt लोग का उसका existence ही नहीं है. हाँ, So and the Devi Bhagavat mein, like, from Devi everybody comes and things like that. So that we have to study. ऐसा क्या? Okay. Hmm. 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 This one example, one thing like people ask is like Lord Ram served Lord Shiva in Rameshwaram, no, this one. So then I generally make a fun of it, saying that, see, this is like going to Tirupati and finding a tatlu. It's like who's serving whom. If you see, Krishna serves his devotee, devotee serves Krishna. So who serves who, like, if trying to find who's supreme based on that, you will not be able to find, because everybody serves everybody. The Lord serves the devotee serves the Lord. So, and then this is also very nice point. So sometimes the Lord appears from pillar, so pillar doesn't become the God, supreme personality of Godhead. And no, so, and sometimes the Lord comes from this one, no, nostril of Brahma, and sometimes he can come from Lord Shiva also. But that doesn't mean that he becomes, where he comes from doesn't mean that, like, that source becomes the this one. So like that we should try to answer that. ठीक है, now we'll discuss in prasadam. ठीक है, अंतराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, हरे कृष्ण, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय.